Throughout history, the spirit of patriotism has prevailed. The battles may have changed, but the values remain the same. Today, in 2024, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment where the call for unity, freedom, and a better future echoes louder than ever. For more than 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been committed to supporting the values that make our nation great. With affordable plans and reliable nationwide coverage, Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless service. It's a call to action for those who believe in the American dream. Because this year is not just any year, it's the most important year since our nation's founding. Choose a wireless carrier that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
This is Chris Ruddy, and I love Gene Valentino's Grassroots Truth Cast. Make sure you're tuning in just like I do every day, every week, every minute.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wake Up America Weekend. I'm Sarah Williamson.
And I'm T.W. Shannon in for Michael Grimm. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
President Trump standing firm on tariffs and making America wealthy again, despite reaction from the stock markets, reminding America he did the same thing in the first term, and it led to jobs, paychecks, and economic growth.
Joining us now, owner and president of Klink Campaigns Incorporated and geopolitical consultant Matt Klink, as well as GOP political strategist and host of the Political Grassroots Truthcast podcast, Gene Valentino. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to Wake Up America Weekend.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Now, Matt, I'm going to start with you. Now, it's not been the best of days for the stock market. It's been pretty tough, but we were talking about a long term. The president keeps talking about long term. Is it going to work?
You know, that's a good question. I think that this is part of a grander plan by the Trump administration. Sure. The tariffs are one part of it. They're the most visible part right now. What the Senate did yesterday in passing their budget resolution is equally important. What I think that Donald Trump needs to do a little bit better job of is selling what the play is on tariffs to the American people, because that will keep Congress strong.
You mentioned the budget resolution. Talk just a little bit briefly about that. Some of our viewers, it was kind of late in the day and somebody might have missed it.
No,
what's it going to do?
So the Senate did what's called a vote-a-rama last night, where they were in really, really late, or probably early this morning. Unless the House and the Senate pass a budget resolution, they can't do what's called reconciliation.
Correct.
And they need to pass reconciliation so they can pass Trump's tax plan, which then allows the tax breaks for the companies to move back to the United States, thus being the whole plan that the Trump administration needs to pass to bring industry back to America and turn the economy to make it a more fair economy for the middle class that's been hollowed out.
There's a lot going on.
Certainly is. Gene, look, President Trump took a few questions on Air Force One on Thursday, but I want you to listen to what he said about manufacturing jobs.
Okay. We're going to see construction starting all over. I already got a couple of calls from Lee Zeldin from Environmental. He's got some big plans to approve. Like really big plans.
How long will it take to get manufacturing, American manufacturing, to where you would like to see it?
Well, let's say it's a 2-year process.
So a 2-year process. Lee Zeldin is going to come in and fix this and bring back jobs, allegedly. This is what we're hearing from him. What are your thoughts?
Well, decades of intentional taking down of America by a deep state element that's had the chance to ferment itself over the years. And here you have a president less than 100 days on the job, and he has massively transformed and pivoted the nation to a positive track, Sarah. I cannot be happier. To answer your question, let the guy turn the game around. I think we're on a serious path for rebuilding America. The incentives that Matt was talking about are contingent upon a budget resolution, and we do need those incentives in place to help businesses get back to the United States. It's like moving the mountain overnight. We use these metaphors, but it's really factual. That's what he's doing.
No. To put another metaphor into the mix here, most people say what goes up must come down, but maybe in this case it's what goes down must come back up again.
Well, or when you see red, I see green.
Now, Matt, Trump was showing off the Trump Gold Card as well, which he is introducing. This will give foreigners a quicker path to citizenship. Look, it's at a hefty price. It's going to be $5 million. That's what it's going to cost you. But the president is adding the card and making it available in 2 weeks. What do you make of this plan?
I think it's an interesting play. Clearly, he wants to bring more capital into the United States. But again, I don't think that this isn't the big picture solution that Donald Trump wants. I think it will help attract more wealthy foreigners who want to come in and have disposable income. But the bigger picture, Sarah, I think you highlighted earlier, is he's got to explain to the American people why these tariffs are important. Yeah. And I don't think he's done a good enough selling job yet. Yeah. If people have to sacrifice, the American public will do it, but he's got to be more vocal about how they're going to benefit in the long run.
People believe him. They do believe him when he says things, but they just want to know why and how. I think they're the parts that he's missing out on, and that's what's creating the confusion.
And it takes time. It takes time, right?
Absolutely.
Right. He's got to have time to get out there. Now, these gold cards that are, talking a lot. Obviously, they're expensive for some. Is it, Gene, going to make an impact on the economy, though? That's at the bottom line. This is a fundraising type effort, if you will, to increase revenue into the coffers of the American taxpayer. Is this going to actually increase or have an effect on the economy in a positive way?
TW, the answer is yes, but more importantly, I think it's an impact on the impression America's going to have about how we look at immigration and the immigration rules that define what a citizen is. I think we need to do a better job, and it starts with Congress. And if they're not performing, Donald Trump is. We need an immigration system that's going to vet the credibility and integrity of the people coming into this nation.
Now, we talk about economy and things that are happening there. Obviously, this week there was something else that happened that I think is going to have a real positive effect on the economy, and that was Newsmax going public this week. I was there at the New York Stock Exchange this week. It was an amazing event. CEO Chris Ruddy ringing the opening bell on Thursday. Matt, what do you make of this company's historic debut, and what does the success say about the current state of the media? Where are we right now when it comes to mainstay media and the traditional media? What does this mean?
Well, I think that the indicators are that people are not consuming news the way they used to in the past. When we were little kids, there were 3 or 4 main stations, and they set the tone for everything. The news was biased, though. If you weren't in there, if you didn't agree with the mainstream media's position, then you were on the outs. And now there are so many different places that people consume media. And look, I joke about my Wall Street, Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott Steel. Blue Horseshoe loves Newsmax. So, there's a niche that's a huge niche that the station is filling. And that's why I think the stock potential has huge upside.
Do you know what I think so as well? And look, I don't pretend to be an expert, but I am part of the generation that get their news from TikTok and these online platforms and social media. I don't personally, but and I think some people were craving something that's new but also old school. They want something that is on TV that hasn't been around for a long time and can bring them an alternative to what they already know. And that's what I think that also plays into it.
100%.
Because we're still TV.
The perspective that you provide is where the majority of the people are. And now they don't need to rely on 3 or 4 stations for it. They can go where they know the news is going to be accurate, that reflects their perspective, and offers them interesting content. And I think that the upside is huge.
Just be fair. I just want it to be fair.
Totally. But Gene, also, I want to get your opinion. What's your success here? What's your opinion on the success of Newsmax?
Well, I come out of a generation when there was ABC, NBC, and CBS, the 3 big houses. Now we have hundreds of outlets. Newsmax was years ago one of those, but now it's bubbled up to the surface as a formidable player on the world scene, not just the American scene. To answer your question, I'm an investor in Newsmax. I admit that wholeheartedly, and I'm proud of it. And I'm not in it for a sizzle for 2 weeks of a gain or a loss. I'm in it for a pathway over time. This is a rock-solid alternative to the news journalism offerings that are out there. And I think it's going to succeed because of its diversity and balance.
Well, I love to hear it, and I hope you are right, and I have a good feeling that you are. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Gene Valentino, Matt Klink. We're going to see you next hour?
Yes.
Stick
Great.
around.
Stick around then. He can stay as long as he likes, apparently.
I think that's the final word.
Yeah, that's after Politico reported earlier in the week that they were saying that Trump had told people that Musk would be leaving the administration soon because he's being seen as a, quote, political liability.
It's political. Are they just making it up at this point? I mean, how do you just come up with a story that the president comes out this very same day and rebuts totally?
Yeah.
But anyway, joining us now, owner and president of Klink Campaigns Incorporated and GOP political consultant Matt Klink, as well as GOP political strategist and host of Political Grassroots Truthcast podcast, Gene Valentino. Gene, what do you make of the media's spin on Elon Musk and the president's clarification?
Well, I liked his final comment that he can stay as long as he wants. I think there's a lot of noise out there. First they attacked Trump, and now it deflects to Elon. Who's the next target in the months and years ahead? The bottom line is Trump has been very successful working on these projects, and he could not have found for America a better choice than Elon Musk to address these issues, TW. It's we're very lucky. And by the way, he's doing that while rescuing people in outer space. Anyone here at this table capable of doing all those things at the same time? Not me.
Never in a million years would I be able to do that. And not just that, he's like saving people with brain chips and all kinds of incredible innovations. He's easily the smartest man on the planet. But anyway, Matt, we also heard the president say that even after Musk's departure, the Doge mission is going to continue. So, you know, what do you make of that?
Well, look, Elon Musk is a very strong personality. I mean, there's my master of the obvious statement for the morning.
Yeah.
But he's effective at what he is. He's effective at what he's doing. He's effective at everything he touches. But the mission of Doge is to go in and to dig into the books of the entire government apparatus and root out waste, fraud, and abuse. That just doesn't stop at a certain point in time. There's more to be done because the government is way too big and way too unwieldy.
Well, it's amazing because, you know, the more we uncover, we find that it's not just millions or billions. We're talking trillions of dollars that we're finding and uncovering that are unaccounted for. But I want to also get to this. Former Joe Biden aide Ron Klein, he wrote a book, and he described it as Out of It. Joe Biden, who couldn't mentally handle debate prep. Biden apparently was not up to date on Donald Trump's latest talking points, fell asleep by the pool. He didn't understand his own argument on inflation and had nothing to say about a second term other than finish the job. Gene, how badly did the Democrats botch this thing that apparently they keep telling us don't believe your lying eyes when it came to Joe Biden, but this is much more revealing?
It's much more revealing, and here's the distinction. When I voted for Donald Trump and he lost to Joe Biden, I accepted the new president, Joe Biden. Wasn't pleased with it, but I accepted him as president. Would you say that the Democrats are reacting the same way? Unlikely, and in most cases not. They've been inflammatory and overreactive to a situation where they're not willing to accept. This is the original thought pattern behind the TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, where people are actually having physical and mental anguish over the fact that Donald Trump's been elected. Chill, folks. Let them just get some things done for you and me. Hey, I don't have to like you. You don't have to like me. But if he's getting the job done, let's let him get the job done. That's what we voted him for.
I do like a secure border.
Oh, dingo. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I think, you know, as we think about the democracy, you know, that now basically we have with party leaders without, you know, the Democrat Party not even having a leader. In this book, they had plenty of time to address this, and they didn't. Is this all their own doing, Matt? Do you think that they have created their own Frankenstein, if you will?
Oh, 100%, TW. There are two books that are out. One is called Fight that talks about it, and the other one where they talk to Ron Klain. And it's ironic that Ron Klain writes it. He was Biden's White House chief of staff. So he was effectively the president of the United States. And now he's criticizing his boss for not being all there. The Democratic Party has perpetrated, it was legal, but it was a legal fraud on the American people that Joe Biden was in charge. Was it Karine Jean-Pierre? I can't keep up with him. He's so vigorous, which is
100 push-ups. You can do 100 push-ups.
Give me a break.
100 push-ups.
The guy could barely get out of bed in the morning, and he was allegedly running the country. And now they wonder why the American people are skeptical about the Democratic Party brand. They brought this on themselves.
Karine Jean-Pierre's like my age, and she's saying she can't keep up with the president. Well, that's a concern.
I was going to say, yeah, that says more about her than him,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. But another person who, basically was possibly going to be the president, or may have even been the president during the Biden administration, is Kamala Harris. So she's back in the news again. We haven't heard from her in a while, but here she is.
Because, there were many things that we knew would happen. Many things. I'm not here, so I told you so.
Oh, we've missed her so much.
Oh, laughing Kamala.
What about you, Jane?
Oh, boy, I don't know where to begin. I'm just so glad common sense is in place. I was having as much trouble following her rhetoric as I was trying to understand what the position was. Really, that's the issue. Her clever lyrics and metaphors were overshadowing policy. Hey, would someone tell me what her policy is on anything?
No.
That was the issue.
100%. Absolutely. Matt, look, we've also heard from, we're hearing a lot, though, from Tim Walz lately. Now we just heard from Kamala Harris. But are these things the people who are vying for the next Democratic nomination? Do you think we're going to see the same duo come up here again, or are we going to get some fresh faces?
No, I think Kamala Harris is trying to decide what her political future is going to look like, whether she wants to run for governor of California, God help the Golden State. If that happens, I saw you give a thumbs up. She may decide to run again in 2028, but Tim Walz, he's toast. He's not going anywhere. He will finish his reign as governor of Minnesota, but there is no way that the Democratic Party is going to give Kamala Harris a free ride in 2028. As it turns out, they didn't even want her in 2024. Yeah. If you read the books about Barack Obama wanted to do a quick primary. So, no, she was put in by convenience. Joe Biden screwed everybody over by endorsing her quickly, and the Democrats got what they paid for.
The American people dodged a bullet on that one. There is no question.
The fact that they didn't listen to Obama, who was a far more popular Democratic president than the one they elected next, is crazy.
Yeah. The Republicans are hoping Kamala, AOC, and Jasmine Crockett.
Bring them on. Bring them on.
Bring them on, baby.
Bring them on. Let's go.
What a trio. Anyway, gentlemen, we do have to leave it there, but thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you in studio.
Our pleasure.
And hope you come join us again.